I'm Samantha, and today I'm going to lead you through a short and functional primal movement flow. You can do this seated on a chair or sitting on a block. I'm on a block right now. Wherever you're at, make sure that you've untucked your tailbone so that there's a curve inward in your low back. So you can reach back and feel it. You can grab your booty and pull it out from underneath you. And I think you can see me in the mirror. I've got nice curves in the spine, and we want to keep those curves intact throughout our session. All right, so have another block, and we're going to take our arms up and reach them up and forward. So I've got soft fists, soft fingers, but strong palms that push away from my heart center, and I'm getting long in the whole body as I do that. It's like I'm pushing my hands away from my back, and I'm getting more rounded and open in my back as a result. Now I'm going to take and turn my palms towards behind me, making chin-up bar arms. So in the back, I'm still quite full between the shoulder blades, and I'm radiantly lifting myself away from my seat. And then I'll slide the hands to the side of the head, ecstasy arms, and gently tilt the ears back. You'll feel a stretch in the side armpit area. Cupping the hands to the side of the head, I can tilt my ears back and feel my whole front body open up. And I'll breathe in a bigness of my rib cage. It's like I'm pulling my head and my ribs out of my hips. I'm getting longer. Okay, and I'm going to keep that spinal curves that I created, so that inward curve of the low back, as I take and I turn, looking down and to the left. Okay, I've still kept that inward curve of my low back, and I'm feeling an opening. I'm breathing into an opening in my low back right ribs. Okay, you can take your hand down to the block here and use that to give you a force to push from block to low back right ribs. Keep in mind you still have that inward curve of the low back. Keeping that, there's a lot of directions going on, I know, keeping that, and then just peel open your face towards the front of your space. So now my face is sideways. I've still got that inward curve of the low back, breathing a fullness into the ribs. And then I'm going to inhale fullness, power yourself up, and then exhale, come on back up to the center. And then we'll pause and feel the difference of the sides. Right now I feel really open in the right side ribs, and the left side is begging for me to do it to the left as well. So we'll give it the satisfaction. How about we check to make sure you've still got wavy spine, not tucking under. So sometimes when we get into these deep twists and turns and manipulations, this tailbone will start to tuck under without us knowing it. And see what happened to my front body when I did that. The pubic bone came forward towards the camera, and my belly started to roll up like that, okay? So trying to erase the rolls by making long belly. And don't worry about sucking it in right now. Nobody's watching. Don't suck in your belly. We want long belly, because a long belly is a strong belly. You know it's true because it rhymes. All right, we'll start with our V-vector arms. And you're pushing fullness and grace and openness. You're helping yourself lift yourself up. You're using a brave, open posture to be light, loving, and free. We'll take the hands to the side of the head, ecstasy. Tilting the ears back helps opening the front of the throat. And being broad in the ribs helps keep the belly open as well. Lifting, loving, lightness. Keeping the curves of the low back, I'm going to turn down, elbows, chin, and face. Forgot my block. Block. Using the block to help me twist and push these low back left ribs back into the left. Keeping the belly long, the inward curve of the low back. This side's a little bit harder for me. This side feels tighter. There's less ability to find those rounded areas in the back ribs. It's good to notice that you will have asymmetries. Okay? Take the hand back to ecstasy, and then open So what I did when I turned down was created an acknowledgement of those low back left ribs in order to glorify them, so that when I crescented like I'm doing right now, I'm not bypassing them by sticking them forward. Okay, so they're glowing backwards and forwards and to the left. Lots of directions going here. And this is really hard. I make it look easy, and there's so many cues here. This is really hard. It's a mindfulness practice. Inhale, bring it back up. Beautiful. How does it feel to have big glorified ribs? Reach your arms forward. Open up your heart. Breathing big in lightness. All right, let's come down to hands and knees position. So step your block aside. I'll put my blocks here. So position yourself so that your belly has room to create length. Make your radiant heart, so your rib cage, really full. And instead of sinking between the shoulder blades like this, I want to grow. And it comes from an engagement of the hands all the way up to the heart center. I'm full between the shoulder blades. I've got a springy tone in my arms. You're in a primal position with the hips tilted back. And I've got that, what do you know? I've got that inward curve of the lumbar spine. I'm honoring the curves of my spine, and that puts me in primal functional movement. I can pulse here and not be taken off. I can go to the side, to the left, and the right. I'm ready to move, ready for action. All right. If you want to try to make things a little bit more intense, you can do this on hands and feet. So you're keeping the curves of the spine. Ooh. We call this crouching cat. It's a functional yoga movement. You can even walk your cat, maintaining the curves of the spine. Keep lifting your heart up, and that's what makes this light. I know your first time around, you're gonna be like, Sam, it's not light at all. This is heavy. I get it, I was there before. All right, swivel your toes and your knees to one direction. Put your hips on the floor and check it out. We're gonna slide and glide to get down to our side. And practice this when you're getting into bed. So I'm gonna use one hand for support. I'll tilt the crown of the head towards the floor. Very important here. You're not gonna be able to do it if the head is lifted even a little bit. So when I tilt the crown of the head, the ribs are gonna rise. This movement's great, it's functional. You use it in your everyday life. And then I'm gonna slide this hand out, keep the left ribs high, so these guys are going up. Remember, if you lift the head, those ribs go down. So tilt the head, the ribs bob up. All right, and then we're gonna slide and glide. It's like you're diving down. So I've taught this to so many people, and they said it's changed the way they get in and out of bed. And I get in and out of bed like that now too. It'll change your life. Adding these little functional movements here and there into your life are just dynamite. All right, so we're gonna roll onto our backs now, and then walk yourself back onto your mat. See if you can do it without lifting your head up and your shoulders off the floor. So that's the forceful way, that's the pattern, that's the default. Instead, we're gonna push our head down, lift the shoulders up, and move them to the side. And then move the head. Push the feet down, move the hips up, move them to the side, and then move the feet. So it's like I'm walking on my body parts. I'm exercising the posterior chain. So posterior chain is that chain of muscles and fascias on the back side of your body that hardly ever gets addressed. So let's try that again. And this gets to be really fun. If you're having a hard time with this, it's not because you're not strong enough. It's not because you're not flexible enough. It's because you don't have the neural pathways to accomplish it yet, but it will happen. You practice. If you need help, give me a call. I'd love to chat with you about it. So supine shifting, it's a new way of moving around on your back, a new fun way of playing with proprioception. So proprioception is the knowledge of where our body is in space. So I don't have to look, I can feel where I'm at. I'm in the center of my mat. Good. The last pose we're gonna do is freedom pose, which is kind of like, if you've ever taken a regular class of yoga, it's kind of like happy baby, except it's a little bit different. So we're gonna cup our knees, and instead of letting the knees fall in towards the belly and the small of the back flattening to the floor, we're gonna push the knees away from the body, toning the arms slightly, and then tilting the pubic bone forward so there's a space. You see my little hand? There's a space between my low back and the floor. And I wanna breathe big in my ribs. I'm rounded on my upper back. There's a fullness in my thoracic spine. There's a length in my waistline. So my waistline just got pulled longer. I'm not compressing the low back. I'm lengthening it, pushing the knees away from me. And then I'm engaging my glutes upward, and I can rock on my 3 energy centers, which are my head, my heart, and my hips. Okay, I'm rocking and balancing. This is a balancing and a deep core exercise. Freedom pose. So when I first started this alignment system, it's called Bowspring, I didn't really like freedom pose. I had a lot of fascia restrictions and scar tissue on my tailbone from tailbone injuries from slipping on ice, and another one from childhood. So if you've got any adhesions or scar tissue, or if there's pain rolling on your butt, there might be something going on there. But it was amazing after working fascia manipulation from the Bowspring functional yoga system. I was able to clear up that in no time. However, in the old school of yoga, the modern postural yoga, for years and years and years, I had avoided tailbone work, such as boat pose, because it made the injury worse. And I just thought I wouldn't be able to do poses like that anymore. But that is not the case anymore. Bowspring is healing, posture, movement, primal movement. Your body wants. All right, so I'm going to come out of supine position, rolling on my side, sliding the hips back, and I'm going to come out the way that I came in. Hand on the floor. Head's going to come up last. Ribs are going to go up and to the side. Nice and smooth. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My name is Samantha Simpson. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.